Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to pay tribute to Steve Cohen for the great work that he's done in the few months that he's been in Washington, D.C. And that's why I'm here. If he wasn't on the ball and outstanding, I can tell you I would not be here tonight. But when he invited me, we had a little talk about health care and some other issues. And I knew, and your reputation had preceded you, sir. We knew that we were getting somebody that would fit in and would be able to move up the ladder and work with the Congressional Black Caucus, the Hispanic Caucus, the Progressive Caucus, to make sure that we start moving this country in a new direction. That's really what, to me, working with Steve Cohen is all about, and that's what we're doing on the Judiciary Committee. We need a new direction because a democracy doesn't just keep going on because the Constitution and 27 amendments say so. It goes on because we keep it alive, and it's up to the people to keep it alive. And so when the congressman suggested that we have a town hall meeting around these subjects at this historic site, it was impossible to refuse. And I'm happy to see Brother Sugarman here. That goes back a long way. Good to see you. And I have an old friend from your city. He's been in Washington and Detroit so many times. Bill Lucy is a very dear friend of mine, and we've been out here back and forth. I was here when the Lorraine Motel was originally dedicated, and it's been continually built up across the years, and I'm very happy to see you all. And I see a lot of my Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity brothers out here, my Greek lettermen. Stand up, all you Kappas. Let me see you. Give them a round of applause. All right. Phi Nu Pi, my brothers. Thank you very much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I only want to make a few brief opening remarks and then open myself up for your discussion. But we're at a historic place in American history, right? Just a symbol here. My communications chief of staff, Jonathan Godfrey, said, you know, it just gives me the shivers walking up to the Lorraine Motel. And the reason I connect that up is that Martin Luther King affected my political philosophy more than any other person I've met. And I've met leaders. Mandela has had a great impression upon me. The little lady that King started off with the bus boycotts in Alabama, Rosa Parks, who not only helped me achieve my first office running for Congress, but also got Dr. King to endorse me, which was unheard of. Coretta Scott King called me when she was doing her biography just to confirm the fact that that he had done it in Detroit, and it was very critical because Rosa Parks and King had some nephews on Van Dyke on the east side of Detroit that were all working with me, and that electrified my campaign, as you can imagine, to have her. She didn't have a lot to say, but she would sit there and everybody would go out and work twice as hard because they knew Rosa Parks was backing me. She was backing me because as a lawyer I went south and started helping out, and so we had met before. It's influenced my outlook, and it's given me a reason to be in the Congress for 42 years And when I came to the Judiciary Committee, there had never been an African American on that committee. And I went to Speaker John McCormick from Boston, Massachusetts. And I said, sir, I've been working in the civil rights movement. I'm a lawyer. I've been a referee in workman compensation. I had done some labor law, civil rights law. And I said, I would like to be considered for the Judiciary Committee. We talked on and on. He picked up the phone and said, Wilbur, I'm going to send over a young man from Detroit, and I want you to see if we can get him on the Judiciary Committee. That Wilbur was, of course, Wilbur Mills, who was the chairman of the committees on the placement of new members in those days. All went through. He was also chairman of Ways and Means Committee, which now Charlie Rangel is the chairman of. And he's the first African American chairman of that committee. And Wilbur Mills, he said, he listened to me and he said, it's not going to be easy because there are a lot of people who want to get on the committee. And there were people telling me, don't get on the committee because I know you want to get on it because of civil rights. And we want to tell you right now, Conyers, civil rights legislation is over. That's going to pass soon. You ought to get on another committee. Well, folks, here we are today, still working, and successfully. I don't let the bumps in the road deter me. I introduced the legislation on Dr. Martin Luther King 3 days after he was assassinated, and I called Coretta first to make sure that I had her support and blessings. I didn't want her to read about it in the newspaper. And she said, well, if you think you can do it. I said, well, I want to do it because there's no higher commendation that we can give to any American. Presidents, we have citations that can occur, but there's nothing higher than having a holiday for the birthday of somebody that's as legendary as I believe Martin Luther King is to not just American history, but to the world. And we went ahead, and it took 15 long years. People said it'll never happen. They said, I understand why you're doing it. People would say, put me on the bill. I know it won't pass, but I got to go on it because everybody wants it. But do you know why that bill passed? It passed because the people in America, the good people in America, that knew and understood like we do the importance of this contribution that he made. He is one of the great Americans of all time. And the fact that we are here tonight in this historic place is so moving to me. It keeps improving. It's looking wonderful. A great museum, a great place to study and learn our history and of the struggles, and to recommit ourselves to making America a better place for everybody. That's what we're all about in public service. And anybody that isn't shouldn't be in it. And one of the things we're trying to do is prove that we've come through one of the worst periods in American history. We've never had a president that has taken so much power to himself, away from the Congress, away from the courts, and away from the American people.